May I call in Dr. Jeffrey Clarin, President of Aklan State University, and also our conference chair, Dr. Prisida Daoud. Once again, a warm round of applause, please. Thank you so much. We now begin our keynote addresses. Our first keynote speaker is a distinguished academic leader whose experience and insights will certainly enrich today's discussion. She holds the rank of Professor III and currently serves as the Vice President for Research, Extension, and Innovation at Aklan State University. She earned her PhD in Computer Science from De La Salle University, specializing in biomedical imaging, and received the Brother Andrew Gonzalez FSC Award for Outstanding Research at the doctorate level. She also holds a Master of Science in Computer Science from the Algorithm and Complexity Laboratory Department of Computer Studies, University of the Philippines, Diliman. She has published numerous research articles in high-impact Scopus Index journals and conference proceedings published by IEE, ACM, Elsevier, and Springer Nature. Her research interests include biomedical imaging, computer vision, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and interdisciplinary applications of computer science. She has received multiple institutional, regional, national, and international awards for research, innovation, and public service initiatives. Most notably, she received the 2023 Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award under the Civil Service Commission's Honor Awards program. She also has led and contributed to projects undertaken with Aklan State University and in collaboration with the DOST, DOST Picard, DOST Picard, and DOST Western Visayas. She is the program leader of C-Waves Technology and also leads and contributes to other research and innovation initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to invite Dr. Julian Acebuque Salido, Vice President of Aklan State University. Please welcome once again Dr. Julian Acebuque Salido.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to present the technology developed in Aklan State University. Sometimes we get to question how science and technology saves lives at sea. So I think after our presentation, we can answer that type of question. First slide, please. So my topic is on transforming maritime safety for a sustainable blue economy and resilient coastal futures through intelligent and inclusive digital innovation. So I'm the program leader of C-Waves Technology, and we have a tagline, Saving Lives is ang puso ng C-Waves Technology. So this is a funded project under the DOST Region 6 and DOST Picard. Thank you. Cannot. Okay. There. Okay, so the Philippines is an archipelagic region. So we have a lot of challenges in our, we have around 7,417 islands here in the Philippines. So we are, we experience a lot of challenges. We have dependence on small watercraft if you want to go from one island to the other, right? When you arrive in Caticlan, you have to ride a small boat going to Boracay Island. So we have a dependence on small watercraft. We have exposure to marine hazards and maritime hazards. Okay, for example, once we have already a signal number 1 hazard for typhoon, automatic all watercraft stop traveling. We have limited real-time monitoring system across the Philippines because it is governed only by the AIS or the international standards. We have low connectivity and technology gap. We have disaster response and search and rescue challenges also. And right now, one of the main goal or sector in research is the blue economy. So, because we are an archipelagic region. Next slide, please. Okay, the reality is our waters are too risky. In 2020 to 2024, okay, we have here the Marina data set. Okay, we have 96 total of maritime incidents. We have 599 serious incidents, 165 casualties, and 253 incidents in 2024 alone. In Western Visayas, where we are in, we have 94 incidents in total. Next slide, please. In 2025, not including the 2026, which I think we have a lot of experience incidents in Mindanao area, lives are at risk. Livelihood and mobility are disrupted. Coastal communities should have a better visibility, and digitalization creates this opportunity. That is where we are in. So that is why we are called by the OST to develop a system for digital innovation and digital transformation or the Sea-Waves technology. Next slide, please. I was called in 2019 because of the Iloilo Guimaras tragedy. 31 lives were lost, 3 boats, 10 were teachers, traveling from one island to the other to finish their master's degree, either from Iloilo to Guimaras or Guimaras to Iloilo, because the 3 boats sank in just 15 minutes interval and 50 minutes interval. It means it was found out that during that situation we lack the real-time monitoring of those ships that should have stopped. The first palang ng boat, it should have stopped already the traveling of 2 boats after which. So the first boat, 16 were lost. The second boat, 11 were lost. And then the third boat, there's another lives that was lost. Next slide, please. So we have the Sea-Waves technology. The Sea-Waves technology has 2 types of technology. We have the monitoring system and then the data acquisition system. The data acquisition system is installed in those ships that is being monitored by the Sea-Waves monitoring system. So it has a real-time vessel monitoring, early warning and emergency alert built in na po. We have a geo-referencing and route monitoring included. And it has a decentralized decision support system for the local government units and the Philippine Coast Guard that has a mandate to do the monitoring of those ships. Last January, by the way, I received a call from the Philippine Coast Guard also because of what happened in Basilan, I think. But at the time, it's not anymore proactive, it's reactive. There's still this connotation that we have something should happen first. There should be a tragedy first before anything could react. So this system should be proactive. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So the data acquisition system has a We have a mobile application and then the monitoring system. Next slide, please. Sir. So the mobile application system is a digital instrument all-in-one. So it has all our mobile phones has Android sensors on it, and those Android sensors has already a built-in gyroscope, magnetometer, accelerometer, and GPRS. So it uses a built-in sensors. It computes for the navigation parameters such as our pitch, the roll, the heading angle, and the speed of those boats. It functions also as a voyage data recorder. It's like a digital black box all-in-one minus the audio. Because for a black box, they record audio. In this case, we don't record audio. Next slide, please. The monitoring system has a built-in alert systems. We have the blue, which is the normal, and then we develop 3 alert systems, the yellow, orange, and then the red alert. The yellow alert if the boat is experiencing already 20% of the critical level, and then the orange is on the 10% critical level, and then the red alert if it's already in the critical level. And automatic, it sends already a electronic broadcast system to all the, has a mandate to do the monitoring that maybe, for example, if you're a mayor, you will receive already, there are 3 boats that are experiencing yellow alert, orange, or red alert. And the last known location of those boats is already included in the message. Next slide, please. So based on our major findings, right now, the accuracy is minimum of 96%, but our last deployment, we have already 98.9% accuracy across the different parameters. We have, prior to deployment, we do preliminary survey of the area so that if once it is adopted, it is functional 100%, and it has a positive feedback with our partners, communities. Next slide, please. So the journey of the research is, of course, very instrumental also. So we started in, of course, so it's sad, but tragedy. It started with a tragedy, and then we were called, Aklan State University were called in that to develop the system in 2020 until 2022. We have an IP protection. We have 2 copyright and 1 patent on this technology. We have a lot of collaborators and partners already in this project. We have deployed it already. Last 2025, we received the silver medal for the New Innovation and Innovation Award in the ASEAN. We received the award in Brunei, Darussalam. And 2025, we successfully deployed the project not here in Visayas region, but it was in Mindanao, in Surigao. And next slide, please. So the Sea-Waves technology partner communities are, of course, the local government unit. And then we have the Philippine Coast Guard because the mandate for the monitoring of those ships belongs to the Philippine Coast Guard. And we have also partners, we should partner also with tourism boat operators, fisher folks operators, and of course, most especially the local government unit. Next slide, please. So the Sea-Waves technology is compared to the international standards. So Sea-Waves is for small watercraft, low cost and affordable, smartphone-based siya, and easy to deploy. While for international systems, they are more designed for large vessels, kasi nasa AIS sila na system, high cost and expensive because it requires specialized hardware. So of course, one hardware for AIS costs more than our boats. And complex deployment. Most of our boat operators are high school graduates. So Sea-Waves technology, it prevents avoidable incidents, enable real-time decision-making, it empowers the local government units, and expand access to maritime safety. Next slide, please. So currently, the C-Waves technology, we are deployed already in Surigao del Sur. We are in talk already with the Negros Island region, and of course, we did already the preliminary survey of the Panay Island and Guimaras. We are also in talk with Marinduque, and last week we were in Rombolon for the launching of Memaropa region, and we are also in talk with Leyte. All of this is from the local government unit initiatives. Okay, next slide, please. So the true value of this C-Waves technology is measured in the lives that we protect, the families that we keep informed, and the communities we make safer. Next slide, please. So we prepared a 1-minute video of our project technology.
Philippines is totally surrounded by waters.
Ibang kasama ko namatay kami.
Philippines is totally surrounded by waters.
Ibang kasama ko namatay kami kasaan.
Saving lives ang puso ng C-Waves technology. Dahil sa proyektong ito, maraming buhay ang maliligtas, maraming sakuna ang posibleng maiwasan.
With this kind of technology, it would promote much safer travels and safer seas.
professional education courses. Dr. Bohalana's advocacy on educating children, the depressed areas, has given a grant the Department of Education in 2011-2012. And she believes that education is one of the necessary elements for progress, a means of rising above poverty, bridging the social gaps, improving living conditions and health, and promoting wellness and a better life. With her training and research grant entitled Reaching the Unreached, a challenge for Filipino educators, she was able to continue her advocacy even without the grants because there is a need to reach the children, particularly those belonging to indigent and communities who have not had access to government education services or alternative learning systems. We will proceed with the next keynote speaker. So he is a program coordinator of Bachelor of Science in Information Technology of the Computer Studies Department at the Iloilo Science and Technology University, Miago Campus, Iloilo, Philippines. He earned his Doctor of Industrial Technology major in Information and Communication Technology and his Master of Science in Computer Science from Iloilo Science and Technology University, La Paz Campus. With more than 2 decades of teaching experience since 2000, he has been actively engaged in instruction, research, and academic development in information technology and computer science. His research interests include information systems development, record management systems, cybersecurity, data management, and technology-driven institutional solutions. He has presented several research papers in local and international conferences and has published articles in peer-reviewed journals, including Scopus Index journals and other international journals such as the International Journal of Innovative Technology and Exploring Engineering and the Seybold Report. His works focus on innovative system development, decision support systems, security management, and digital solutions for educational institutions. He is also an active member of professional organizations, including the Philippine Society of Information Technology Educators, Philippine Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, and the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities of Industrial Technology. Through his teaching, research, and professional engagement, he continues to contribute to the advancement of information technology, education, and research in higher education. Let us all welcome Dr. Lance J. Tristeza Montalban, Associate Professor 4 from Iloilo Science and Technology University.
Good morning, fellows. The privilege is mine to stand here and share to you my research work. I hope this will somehow be of help to our participants and presenter. My research titled The Image Processing Approach in Counting and Sorting of Chicken Egg. First, we have the problem. It is a time-consuming and manual method of sorting and counting of poultry by size, as well as has a problem to determine and separate the good quality platform from the damaged. So the general objectives of the study is to aim to develop a microcontroller device which image processing approach in counting and sorting with the chicken eggs. We have here the specific study aim, but we have to proceed on the conceptual framework. On the conceptual framework, we describes the input, process, and then the output, as well as the evaluations. For the input, we have the chicken egg. For the process, the image processing, classifications, sorting, and counting. For the output is the image processing, approach and counting and sorting the chicken egg, and this will be evaluated using the ISO 25010. For the methodology, the system will use the FDD, or what we call features-driven development. It's a software development life cycle that's used to develop on the system. It's used by the Agile framework. For the technology perspective view, we have here the design of the technology used for the classifications and of the process. For the classification technique, in order to predict the size of the egg, the area, spot, the ratio, and surface within should determine. So the area of the egg can be determined by counting the number of pixels in the image, in the egg image. The linear regression was used to evaluate the numerical measurements in association between two variables with correlations and coefficients. Is the formula. And to determine the spot ratio, the egg spot is divided over the total number of pixels, then it shows the formula. For the Euclidean distance was used for the color filtering to determine the area spot ratio and the surface defects. The evaluation used the F measures. To test the accuracy of the system to predict the chicken egg size and defections is used the F measures. We have here the test confusion matrix. And then the result of the F measure, based on the data presented, the result of the accuracy of the system is 93%. For the precisions, is equals to 0.96 or equivalent to 97% for the precisions. For the computer result of the recall, it equals to 0.96 or equivalent to 97%. For the F measures, value using the harmonic mean of precision and recall is equivalent to 97%. And then we have here the linear regression result. It shows that the value of significance is 0.0, which signifies that there is a relationship between two variables. For the evaluation using the ISO 25010 for the end users, the image processing approach of counting sorted chicken egg for the end users is excellent. For the IT expert, we have the result of excellent. So this study is also published on the Scopus. And this publication date is on December 2023. And it's already published on the IPOFIL under the intellectual property of the Philippines. Okay, I have here the video. Sir, can you play the video? Okay, that's all. The system, there is a prototype of the systems used to sort the chicken egg from different sizes as well as the rejected one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lance Montalban. May we call in our conference chair to award the plaque of appreciation. Once again, may we call in Dr. Lance J. Tristeta Montalban for the awarding of plaque of appreciation po. And for our next key address, she is the director of the Innovation and Technology Transfer Office of the University of the Cordilleras. She is a visionary leader, accomplished researcher, and trailblazer in the field of information technology. With an unwavering commitment to advancing technological frontiers, she has dedicated her career to pushing the boundaries of IT research and fostering innovation within academic institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Thelma Domingo Palawag.
The first slide. Okay, first. Okay. Okay, so good day to everyone. How are you? Okay, I hope you are enjoying your food. Okay. Well, of course, when we talk about the innovation and future, it is very easy to focus immediately on artificial intelligence. Okay, robotics, smart systems, and of course, renewable energy, digital platforms, advanced manufacturing, and whatever may be emerging next, okay? But for today's discussion or my talk, it's quite a little bit simple, because the real question in my discussion or topic or talk today is, what technologies will define the future? Okay? And the more important question is, what kind of future do we want these technologies to create? So because technology, of course, is advancing rapidly, but technological advancement by itself does not guarantee societal progress. Okay? So a country can become more digital without becoming more inclusive. An organization can automate its processes without becoming productive. And a city can become smart without necessarily becoming sustainable. And of course, an economy can attract high technology investment without developing its own technological capability. So my position for this talk is that Technologies should help us build futures that not only smarter, but also sustainable, responsible, resilient, and inclusive. So this is the core message I would like to emphasize. The future should not only be smarter, it should be more sustainable, more responsive, more resilient, and more inclusive. Technology should therefore be evaluated not merely how advanced it is by the outcomes it creates. When someone presents an AI system, for example, instead of asking how accurate is the model, we should ask who benefits from it, who might be excluded, what data is required, and what environmental resources does it consume, and what happens when it fails. And does it really actually solve a meaningful problem? This is very particularly important because we are sometimes fascinated by the novelty. We celebrate technologies simply because they are new. But innovation is not the same as novelty. For me, innovation is the meaningful application of knowledge and technology. Of course, a meaningful technology that really solve real problems and create now measurable value. So, what technology is emerging to? Okay? Dapat tanungin natin, what problem should technology solve? That small change in the question produces now yung very different innovation agenda. Once we begin with problems rather than technologies, another important reality becomes clear. And the major breakthrough of the new decade will probably not come from one technology operating alone, and they will come from convergence. Okay. I believe one defining characteristic of what we call now future technology will be convergence. We sometimes discuss AI, IoT, renewable energy, data analytics, digital platforms, and advanced manufacturing as a separate technology domains. But in actual application, they increasingly work together. So consider a smart energy system. Sensors collect information. IoT devices that transmit that information. AI analyzes demand, digital platforms that manages transaction, and a renewable energy system that produces electricity. Battery technologies also store it. And analytics helps operators decide when and where energy should be distributed. No single technology creates the value. The value comes from the integration of all those technologies around now a real need. The same applies to agriculture, healthcare, transportation, disaster management, education, and manufacturing. This is why I would suggest that the competitive advantage of institutions and countries will increasingly depend not only on access to technologies, but on their ability to integrate different technologies into functioning system. A functioning system that requires interdisciplinary research. It requires engineers working with social scientists, computer scientists working with health professionals, universities working with industry, technology developers working with communities. So the future is not one technology. The future is the intelligent integration of many technologies around real needs. Among all these technologies, the artificial intelligence is the probably most receiving, the most attention today. But AI becomes particularly valuable when it becomes now a part of decision-making cycle. So, for me, AI is best understood as what we call now an enabler. Its value comes from helping us through four stages. Okay, we have the sense, the learn, and decide and act. Okay? So when we sense, we collect actually signals from different people, machines, communities, environment, institution, and infrastructure. And when we learn, AI analytics help identify now patterns, risks, anomalies, opportunities, efficiencies that would be difficult to detect manually. Then when we decide, that intelligence should support human judgment, and finally, we act. Okay? So we improve policies, operations, services, systems, or intervention. But something important, after acting, we need to collect new information. We learn again, we adjust, and that creates now a continuous feedback loop. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So for universities have traditionally measured research success using outputs. So how many papers did we publish? How many citations did we receive? How many papers or projects did we completed? Those indicators are valuable. But innovation requires another question. Okay? What happened because of the research? Did the research lead to prototype? And was the prototype validated? And was intellectual property protected where appropriate? Did it lead to startup or technology transfer opportunity? Or was it adopted by an industry, local government, hospitals, schools, or community? And eventually, did it create meaningful impact? The pathway illustrated here is research, prototype, validation, IP or startup, adoption, impact. So not every study will travel through the entire pathway. Basic research remains essential, but when research is intended to solve an applied problem, universities need systems that help researchers move beyond publication. That means strengthening technology transfer offices, building incubation program or capacity, and helping researchers understand intellectual property. Connecting faculty and students with industry and government, creating innovation grants, supporting student startup, and providing access to testing and validation. Why? Because knowledge becomes transformative when knowledge moves. So for universities, the challenge is not simply producing more knowledge. It is building stronger translation pathway. But of course, research translation cannot be accomplished by a technology transfer office alone. Innovation is fundamentally an ecosystem activity. One mistake some institutions sometimes create is assigning actually an innovation to one office. Okay? We create an innovation office and then expect that office to generate startups, industries, partnership, commercialization, technology transfer, and even community impact. But innovation does not happen that way. The real infrastructure of innovation is collaboration. Okay? Universities contribute research and talent. Industry contributes market knowledge, scale production capability, and investment. And government contributes policy, infrastructure, incentives, and funding. Communities contribute something equally important: the needs, context, and validation. So if any one of these actors is missing, innovation becomes more difficult. So for example, universities may create excellent prototype that never reach user because there is no market partner. Okay? Industries may identify technological needs but lack research capability. And government may provide funding, but without strong institution, projects may not scale. And technologies developed without communities may solve the wrong problem. So innovation therefore happens in the connection between these actors. This is why innovation ecosystem requires strong connection, shared purpose, and sustainable impact. Universities should increasingly function as conveners of this ecosystem, not simply as institutions that produce graduates and publication. And speaking of graduates, okay, technology transformation also raises an important question about education. What capabilities should future-ready graduates should possess? So if future technologies are converging, then future-ready graduates cannot be prepared through technical skills alone. Certainly, they need technical capabilities, AI, data analytics, cybersecurity, smart system, digital technologies. Okay? But technical knowledge is only one part of future readiness. They also need innovation capability. Okay? Can they identify meaningful problem? Can they apply design thinking? Can they create prototypes? Can they think like entrepreneur? Can they translate ideas into viable solution? Okay? If they can, okay? They also need creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, empathy, and the like. Okay? This is now, we need to understand in the university. They must understand ethics, privacy, sustainability, social impact, and governance. And this becomes even more important in the AI era, when machines can generate code, summarize information, write reports, and perform increasingly sophisticated technical tasks. Okay? Human abilities become more, not less, valuable. So university should not only ask, how do we prepare graduates for the jobs of the future? We should also ask, how do we prepare graduates to create the solutions of the future? So to bring these technologies or different dimensions together, I have here the 5 I's. Okay? The 5 I's provides now a practical way of evaluating now the future technologies. The first is innovation. Okay? Does the technology provide a meaningful solution? Not simply a new product, but a meaningful solution. The second I is the integration. Can technologies and discipline converge around the problem? And the third is inclusion. Who gains access to the solution? Who might be excluded? And the fourth one is impact. Can the idea move beyond prototypes and publication into measurable outcomes? And the fifth is integrity. Is the technology governed ethically and responsibly? These dimensions are interconnected. Innovation without integration may remain fragmented. Integration without inclusion may widen inequality. Inclusion without impact may create participation, but limited outcomes. And impact without integrity can create serious societal harm. So before describing any technology as transformative, I would ask three simple questions. Is it sustainable? Is it responsible? Is it inclusive? Because ultimately, innovation should help humanity flourish while protecting now the system that sustains the life. So whenever we introduce a technology, one of the first questions should be, who benefits? Okay. Future technology should reduce gaps, not deepen them. Okay. There are at least 4 dimensions we should examine. First is the access. Okay. Second is the affordability. Of course, third is the cultural fit. And fourth is shared value. Okay? So, again, inclusive innovation therefore requires us to look beyond adoption or adopting the numbers. 1,000 users do not automatically mean inclusive impact. And the best technologies are not simply advanced. They are accessible, usable, affordable, meaningful, and locally relevant. So these questions of who captures value becomes even more important when we consider now countries positioning themselves with emerging global technology trend. And this brings me now to the case of our, the hat, the PAC Silica, because it illustrates both the opportunity and the challenge of future technologies from a national perspective. The opportunity is significant. The Philippines can position itself more strongly with emerging technology or the emerging technology ecosystem, involving all the areas such as semiconductors, AI, advanced manufacturing, name it. All advancement is in the PAC's Silica. Development around areas such as the new Clark City also allows us to imagine now a broader ecosystem where manufacturing, digital infrastructure, energy research, and innovation are connected. But I believe we must evaluate opportunities like this using a deeper measure of success. Foreign investment is important. Jobs are important. Infrastructure is also important. But those cannot be the only indicators. Marami pa pong indicator. How much technological capability remains in the Philippines? And are Filipino engineers and researchers involved in the higher value activities? Are the universities participating in research and development? Is there a meaningful technology transfer? And so on and so forth. This distinction is critical. So a country can participate in high technology industry while remaining concentrated in relatively low value system of the value chain. So the strategic objective should be more progressively toward activities involving research and development, design, advancement, engineering, AI innovation, and technology ownership. And sustainability must remain part of that strategy. So to end, I would like to conclude with this statement. The future is not predicted, it is designed. We often talk about future as though it is something that simply arrives. AI is coming, automation is coming, future jobs are coming, smart cities are coming. But the future is not simply something we wait for. Every policy decision, every research investment, every startup, every curriculum redesign, every technology we adopt, and every technology we decide not to adopt contributes to designing the future. So I would leave 4 priorities. Ayan. First, build capability, govern responsibly, include communities, and of course, translate research into impact. Okay? So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about the future of innovation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thelma, for that impactful and insightful presentation. We all look forward to having future collaborations, all of these state, university, and colleges who are present in this conference. Thank you. May I call in our conference chair, Dr. Fisida Daoud, to present the plaque of appreciation. May I also call in Ms. Priyanka Sahu and our conference chair, Dr. Fisida Daoud, for the presentation of plaque of appreciation to Aklan State University President, Dr. Jeffrey. We have here the plaque of appreciation for the Aklan State University. Before we proceed to our technical sessions, kindly submit your PowerPoint presentation to our technical team before we proceed with our first technical session. For our first technical session, we have our session chair, evaluator Dr. Geronimo A. Elado, Campus Administrator of Eastern Summer State University. For our first presenter, we have Maria Lynn Torres with paper title Fortification and Nutritional Assessment of Squid Seasoning Powder. Reminding everyone po, the time limit for the presentation is 6 minutes, and we have allotted 2 minutes for the question and answer. Also, once again, reminding all the presenters for the first technical session to kindly provide their PowerPoint presentation here with the technical team. Anyone who has not submitted their presentation? For first presenter, once again, may we call in Maria Torres. Fortification and nutritional assessment of squid seasoning powder. Okay, before we proceed, just to give you a heads up, for the first 5 minutes, a single click of the bell will signal that you have consumed 5 minutes. 2 clicks of bell would signal that your time is up. Okay? Once again, Maria Torres for her paper titled Fortification and Nutritional Assessment of Squid Seasoning Powder.
Buenos dias a todos. Good morning, everyone. Maayong aga sa tanan. Assalamualaikum. I am Lindsay Torres, and I'm tasked to present to you our research titled Squid Savor Fortification and Nutrition Assessment of Squid Seasoning Powder. Okay. For my co-researcher is Dr. Alnahar S. Kunting and Javi Gentilia. So this research actually addresses, focuses on the development of squid seasoning powder made purely from dried squid powder. So unlike the similar brands that is available here in the Philippine market, which only offer chicken, beef, shrimp flavors, Squid Sabor will offer a new flavor options in the market. Of course, it is fortified with vitamin A and iron. So why fortification? According to the National Nutrition Survey of the DOST FNRI, that 20 to 40% of Filipinos all across 6 months old children, young school children, and vulnerable groups like pregnant women, lactating moms, and even elderlies have nutrient problem deficiency, specifically for iron and anemia. So why in seasoning powder? Because according to the FNRI also, that 53% of Filipinos are using flavor enhancers, specifically seasoning powders, in a daily basis. So this study addresses the Sustainable Development Goal to Zero Hunger, which highlights the urgent need to end or reduce hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainability. Zamboanga, a major fishing area in Mindanao, has an abundance of sea product, including squid. But despite of these abundance, fisher folks and dried fish traders are facing this intermittent oversupply of dried fish, specifically dried squid. And these oversupply leads to a full storage capacity, often renting storage from larger canning companies, which unfortunately consistently full, leading to this medium and larger sizes of dried squid displayed in the market, surpluses, and devaluated. So in the context of these challenges, the possibility of transforming these surpluses into an innovative product is vital. Creating opportunities or income generation for livelihood enhancement will boost the dried squid industry. Value adding, continuous commercial production, and a shelf-stable product are crucial for its sustainability. So for our objectives, we just determined the most acceptable formulation of squid seasoning powder fortified with iron and vitamin A. So I determined the nutritional composition of the most acceptable formulation. We only have 2 formulations. One sample is without fortification, and the other one is with fortification. So for the information of everybody, this is the phase 2 of our study. On the phase 1, we proceeded with choosing the most acceptable formulation. So on the phase 2, this is funded by the DOST Region 9 under DOST. So for the third objectives is to conduct microbial analysis and evaluate the fortified product by determining the overall acceptability using the 7-point hedonic scale. So this study was conducted in Food Processing Laboratory of the Western Mindanao State University, Zamboanga City. So for the methodology, very simple. So we just cut into strips the dried squid powder, pulverize it, mix the ingredients, use an oven, and then pack. So even the dried fish traders or the fisher folks can really do this technology without using high equipment. So for the results and discussion, for the sensory evaluation in terms of taste, flavor, color, aroma, texture, and even overall acceptability, there is no significant difference. It means that fortification did not affect the sensory attributes and overall acceptability of the product. So for the physico-chemical analysis, the moisture and water activity are low, suggesting enhanced stability and reduced susceptibility to spoilage. And of course, unlike the similar brands that is available in the Philippine market, which often contains sodium and zero protein as declared on their label, Squid Savor has a low fat, low carbohydrates, low sodium content, and of course with protein. So for the physicochemical analysis, of course, we just follow it on the recommended nutrient intake acceptable limit before it has low iron and vitamin A, and then we proceeded with the fortification, and it was successful. For microanalysis, APC, total coliform and molds and yeast are also within the acceptable limit. Of course, overall, Squid Savor has an immense potential to meet new market demands. It offers a high variety of wider options while addressing health and quality concern. Gracias.
Thank you, Mrs. Lynn Torres, and the rest of your researchers, your co-researchers. That was quite interesting.
Medyo binilisan ko na
Okay.
for the 6
I
minutes.
had just one question for you. Now, how can this fortification process be scaled to support local programs, and what are the primary barriers to producing this at a community level?
So we already filed this technology, and we will be proceeding it to techno-transfer. We do have potential technology adapters already, which is the president of the dried fish traders and suppliers of Zamboanga City. So it is an advantage for him because he has the supply already of dried squid.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, po.
For our next presenter, may we call in Alnahar S. Kunting with the paper titled Beyond the Shore, Engineering Sustainable Bio-Nori from Sea Grapes, Colpa and Lentifilera, Evaluation of Consumer Acceptance and Physicochemical Properties.
Okay, let me check first. Wala pa pala. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I'm Alnahar Kunting, and I'm going to present our study titled Beyond the Shore, Engineering Sustainable Bio-Nori from Sea Grapes, Caulerpa lentilifera, Evaluation of Consumer Acceptance and Physicochemical Properties. Okay, so with me is Ms. Malin Torres, the previous speaker, and Mr. Alcaine Acejas. So this is actually a collaborative work involving faculty members and BS Food Technology student from Western Mindanao State University. So the team combines expertise in food technology, research, and product development. So this collaboration supports the development of the locally sourced sea grapes and to produce as and develop into a bio-nori product. Okay, so Caulerpa lentilifera, or also known as sea grapes or the green algae, is highly nutritious, usually contains essential vitamins and minerals, and it is widely consumed in the Philippines. But however, its major limitations rely substantially on imported nori, and has a short shelf life and rapid post-harvest deterioration. So our study, therefore, aimed to transform sea grapes into a bio-nori sheet and evaluate its consumer acceptability, microbial safety, and physicochemical properties. So this study is significant first and foremost because it's transforming the fresh sea grapes into shelf-stable bio-nori, enhances product value, reduces post-harvest losses, and supports coastal livelihoods. So for those who are not familiar with sea grapes, so this is the raw sea grapes, and the second picture is the final bio-nori product. It can uses for several versatile, like it can add in the sushi and in our ramen, and also serve as snacks anywhere and anytime. So this is now most likely the favorite of our generation today, the Gen Z. Okay, so the main problem that want to address by this study is the perishability of fresh sea grapes. And although lato has, or sea grapes has, its nutritional and economic value, its short shelf life limits distribution, storage, and commercialization. So another concern is the Philippines' dependence on imported porphyra-based nori. So our proposed innovation is to convert locally available sea grapes into dried nori-like sheet. So through processing and drying, we can increase the product's shelf stability and potentially create a higher value food product for consumers and local seaweed farmers. Okay, so actually the study employed an experimental research design. So the freshly high quality sea grapes actually were obtained from one of the aquaculture farms in Barangay Talabaan, Zamboanga City. So as you can see, there were 3 treatments in this study. So treatment 1, we have 100% sea grapes. Treatment 2, 50% sea grapes and 50% agar-agar, or also known as leukemia. And the treatment 3 is 100% agar. So the purpose of these formulations is to allow us to compare the effect of sea grape and agar proportions on the characteristics and acceptability of the resulting nori sheets. Okay, so this is the actual bio-nori process flow. So the process began with selection of fresh sea grapes, followed by washing, blanching, draining, and then blending. And then the blended product is put into the mold, and then oven drying, roasting, and then packing. And then sensory evaluation, microanalysis, and product cost. So this is the actual picture of the process flow during the production of bio-nori. And as you can see, for the sensory evaluation, there is no significant difference across all formulation, but the mean shows that the most preferred formulation is the 100% sea grapes. So this is also showed clearly that the 100% sea grapes, bar as green, is the most preferred by the consumer. It is acceptable, the product is safe for consumption based from the microbiological analysis, resulting to less than 100 CFU. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Konting.
Yes, thank you as well.
And the rest of your co-researchers. Actually, I prepared 5 questions
Okay.
for this, because I'm quite familiar with the lato.
Seaweeds, lato.
Yeah, we have this in Eastern Samar. Anyway, so in the interest of time, I will just be summarizing the 5 questions into one. What is the comparative environmental footprint of the bio-nori production versus the traditional method?
Okay, so the Philippines highly depends on the imported nori, which is from the Porphyra genus. But we decided, actually, sir, this product was developed through the needs of the communities. One of the communities in Zamboanga City, the coastal communities in Barangay Talabaan. So we help them to augment their daily lives needs in terms of financial, because it can add as a livelihood So we benchmark from the actual bio-nori, from the imported nori. So since the area is highly abundant in sea grapes, but it only costs 5 pesos to 10 pesos, but if they actually process it into nori, they can sell them at 49 to 50 pesos per 8 grams of bio-nori. So your question, sir, is the footprints. So though there is no actually difference from the actual procedure, but the advantage we subjected is for a microbial analysis and physicochemical testing, and also for the consumer analysis for the viability of the product.
Thank you, Mr. Searcher.
For our next presenter, may we call in Wilma G. Jalik-Hik with the paper titled Development, Sensory Acceptability and Quality Characteristics of Zampan Native Chicken Meat Floss.
So good day everyone, I am Wilma Jalik-Hik from Western Mindanao State University, and today I am pleased to present to you our research study entitled Development, Quality, Acceptability and Quality Characteristic of Zampan Native Chicken Meat Floss. So, So our study is to develop a Zampan Native Chicken Meat Floss using a culled chicken aged 24 months and above. So this product was also evaluated for its sensory acceptability and physicochemical characteristic, including the chemical, microbiological safety, and shelf life. So the findings of our research address two concern, which is to utilize a culled chicken and to develop a Zampan Native Chicken Meat Floss as additional value-added product. So to understand furtherly our rationale, it is important to understand what we mean with culled chicken. When we say culled chicken, it is a chicken that removed from the breeding facility due to its age. So in animal breeding, once the chicken become older, it is no longer, its reproductive performance decline, and it is no longer economically reproductive for egg production. So, however, the removal of this chicken and breeding facility doesn't mean that its meat doesn't have a nutritional value. Well, in fact, culled chicken has a substantial protein content compared to young chicken. However, the concern is that the culled chicken has a tough meat texture. That's why the utilization of this culled chicken limited only on the production of frozen products such as hot dog, hams, and nuggets. The purpose of the development of this meat floss is not just only to create a value-added product, but also more importantly, we want to develop a nutritious food that can provide a high source of protein. This is relevant in the Philippines, where infants and school-age children are among the vulnerable group where access to nutrition may not be adequately met. So, according to the 2023 National Nutrition Survey of the STF-NRI, around 26% of infant and preschool children did not meet the estimated average requirements for protein. And their nutrition needs become more evenly challenging, especially during calamities or emergency situation when access of nutritious food may be limited. So the nutrition, aside from that, therefore our focus or rationale is to utilize or add value to the culled chicken, as well as utilize, develop a nutritious food that can be promote or contribute to food and nutritional security. So, in the Philippines, it is highly exposed to different types of emergency, including floods, armed conflict, disease outbreak, typhoons, or earthquake, and other disasters. So during this situation, the communities may be displaced, and access to nutritious food may be limited. So in many evacuation emergencies, the common food distributed are canned food, instant noodles, or ready-to-eat product, because it is relevantly have a long shelf life and convenient. On the other hand, while in the community or school feeding area, the common meals distributed are rice meal products such as lugaw and arroz caldo. So, however, there is an opportunity to complement this food with protein-rich product. So it can be eaten directly with rice or add as a complement to the rice-based products such as lugaw or arroz caldo, or even in noodles or pastas. So to present the overall result of this research, first in terms of sensory acceptability, the meat floss added in lugaw obtained overall rating of 5.52 out of 7, interpreted as like moderately. And second, product showed protein, rich in protein and low fat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wilma, and your co-researchers. How is it? This is not yet your question. Is the product already available in the community?
Within the area only, sir, because it is not yet registered in the FDA.
Okay, but it goes to sample economic enhancement already for?
Yes.
I see.
think so.
Okay. Okay. So this is your question now. Now, in what ways does commercializing Zampin native chicken incentivize local diversity preservation? In what ways?
Maybe first, we can promote the product through feeding program or through emergency situation in the Philippines.
Okay. No more?
That's all.
Oh, thank you.
Next presenter, Annie Jane Esteban, paper title Development and Quality Evaluation of Hot Dog Made from Zampen Native Chicken Meat.
Good day, everyone. I am Annie Jane J.F. Esteban, a Bachelor of Science in Food Technology at Western Mindanao State University. So I'm a student. Before I'll start, I would like to introduce my co-researchers. My advisor, Ms. Marielyn C. Torres, is a professional food technologist and holds a Master of Science in Food Science. Our research team also includes Dr. Alnahar S. Kunting, who holds a PhD in Science Education major in Chemistry. So our research is entitled Development and Quality Evaluation of Hot Dog Made from Zampen Native Chicken Meat. So this study focuses on developing a value-added meat product using locally available Zampen native chicken meat. So you may be wondering what is Zampen native chicken meat or why it's called Zampen native chicken meat. So Zampen is short for Zamboanga Peninsula, while native chicken is a locally sourced chicken adaptive, or it is raised in the area. So despite the production of Zampen native chicken, its utilization in processed food products remain limited. Native chicken may also have a higher production cost and may contain relatively high levels of sodium, fat, and additives. Therefore, our study proposes the development of a hot dog using Zampen native chicken meat. This can provide a value-added product, additional market opportunities for native chicken, and support local poultry production. So, specifically, we aim to first formulate hot dog using Zampen native chicken meat as a primary raw material. Second, determine the physicochemical properties of the developed Zampen native chicken hot dog. Third, assess the microbiological quality of the developed product. Fourth, determine the sensory characteristics in terms of flavor, juiciness, aroma, appearance, and overall acceptability. And lastly, compare the quality attributes of the developed hot dogs with commercially available chicken hot dogs. So, this study was conducted at the Fruit Processing and Sensory Laboratory of the College of Agriculture, Western Mindanao State University, Campus C, San Ramon, Zamboanga City, Philippines. The laboratory was used for the preparation, processing, evaluation of the developed hot dogs. So, 3 formulations were prepared. The treatment 1, we have 100% Zampen native chicken meat. Treatment 2, we have 75% Zampen native chicken meat and 25% commercial chicken meat. For the treatment 3, we have 50% Zampen native chicken meat and 50% commercial chicken meat. These formulations allowed us to evaluate how the different proportions of Zampen native chicken mix affect the quality and acceptability of the hot dog. For the preparation process, we use fresh Zampen native chicken meat, and then the meat was deboned and trimming before grinding, and then the meat was mixed with fat, ice water, seasonings, binders, and curing ingredients. The meat was then emulsified and stuffed into casings, and then it was poached under 75 to 80 degrees Celsius, and then it cools with ice water. After cooling with ice water, the meat was then vacuumed and packed, and then it's stored. It is now subject for evaluation, physical, chemical, nutritional, microbiological, and sensory analysis. For the results, the sensory evaluation, For the sensory evaluation, we assess 6 attributes: the appearance, aroma, flavor, juiciness, texture, and overall acceptability. Based on the results, the mean scores were generally within the acceptable range. The highest mean for flavor was 6.38, while aroma reached 6.22 in 1 formulation. For overall acceptability, the formulations obtained mean scores from 5.94 to 612, showing that the products were generally likely by the panelists. The Friedman test showed significant differences for appearance and aroma with p-values below 0.05. However, there were no significant differences in flavor, juiciness, texture, and overall acceptability. This means that although the formulations differed in some sensory characteristics, they were generally similarly acceptable to the panelists. So, to further determine the formulations differed from one another, a pairwise Wilcoxon sign rank test with home adjustment was conducted. This test allowed us to identify specific differences between the 3 formulations. The results indicate that some differences were observed, particularly in appearance and aroma, while the other sensory attributes showed no comparison. Overall, the result shows
Thank you, Ms. Annie Jane, Stephen, and the rest of your co-researchers. And of course, your advisor. I commend the students are joining here. Thank you for that. Okay. Before my question, was there an existing study on, what do you call that? Zampin native chicken?
Yes, sir.
Where this byproduct was anchored on? Is it existing already? Anyway, now we understand, we are after on the sustainability as mentioned by our speakers morning, and how it help in the production or development of our community. Now, considering the focus, this is now the question, considering the focus on quality evaluation, what are the primary challenges in maintaining the shelf life and food safety of this native chicken product, the hot dog?
Can you please repeat again?
Okay.
Sorry.
Considering your focus on quality evaluation, that is what we are after of. Now, what are the primary challenges in maintaining the shelf life and the food safety of the product?
Of course, when we are creating a product, we must ensure the cleanliness first in the area where we prepare the products. And then we really have to be very careful with the processing of the products, because no matter how careful, no matter how good quality our product is, it will not it will spoil if we cannot make sure that the area and the processing is good. I mean, if the area and processing is we follow properly.
Thank you, though. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I like students joining the international
Actually, sir,
conference.
this is my first time joining here.
So you are welcome, though, according to our organizers.
Thank you so much, everyone, and welcome to the Philippines.
Next presenter, may we call in Dr. Mildred F. Akad with paper titled Mandatory Wearing of Filipiniana and Asian-Inspired Monday Office Uniforms and its contribution on the growth of the fiber and clothing industry in South Central Mindanao, Philippines.
Sorry for the interruption. I'm Mildred Akad from Sultan Kudarat State University in the southern part of the Philippines. And we are presenting here you are already aware as employee that mandatory wearing of Filipiniana and Asian-inspired Monday office uniforms and its contribution on the growth of the fibers and clothing industry in South Central Mindanao. Okay, if you are riding an airplane, we are amazed of the design of this, wearing the national pride. And in situation, we are on the Maguindanao area, or the Sultan Kudarat State University is a sole university under Sultan Kudarat, wherein 65% are Ilonggo, 30% are Ilocano, and the rest are on Maguindanao, Sabacano, and other Cebuanos in the place. So I am Mildred Akad, teaching digital arts, graphic arts, and architecture at Sultan Kudarat State University. And one of the reasons why we have to conduct this, because we need to have an official uniform, and all the uniforms of the university should be based on research, including the use of either Maguindanaon cloth or other stripes. And we have also the abstract, which is patriotism and support for domestic products shapes a nation's cultural and economic identity. So this is the basis of wearing the uniform, wherein DepEd had already emphasized their own design, but Sultan Kudarat State University do not have. And that is why we have to conduct with the stakeholders, the government employees, pre-service teachers, and all the elected officials, including the tribal elders, using online Google platforms. So these are the officials from DepEd, which we administer with using descriptive statistics with the respondents from equal rate from male and female, but we do not consider the tribes, including those other aspects, provided they are wearing this in Monday or every Monday. In the results, we have discovered that Tiboli cloth was the top-notch best choice of all it can be associated with the 60% Christian and the rest, so that is why the Tinalak won in the preferences. So this is one of the Maguindanaon design we have, but it is not the first choice of the respondents. The Insight also have the recommendation to refine some of our designs officially for the Sultan Kudarat State University. So as we have observed in the South Central Mindanao respondents, they observed that upper clothing only and the skirts and the lower part are in normal condition, not a tribal or Asian attire. So this is the Malong Balintawak, usually derived from the Maguindanaon cloth, but in reality, they are still proud of using the Filipiniana. It can be also supported with the findings that they are not proud of wearing other countries' uniform, but still proud of the Filipiniana attire. When you can also seen that instead of wearing silk or pineapple fiber cloth, they use digitally printed tribal design. So when we have also asked the authenticity of Maguindanao, Tinalak, and other beaded products, they wanted to have the stripes of our uniform in Tiboli. So full and authentic Filipiniana, but upper clothing is also observed in the practice of the South Central Mindanao. So they also believe, although the figure is almost comparable, that they believe that the raw materials from the farmers will soar high if this will be implemented in the local areas, including the dressmakers can generate income out of this. They believe also some of the positive outcome because of the Republic Act on the use of this. These are the compiled data of the respondents' perceptions and sentiments using the transcendental phenomenology. The digital designs we have generated out of Maguindanao because Sultan Kudarat is in the area of Maguindanao. So we have generated this one out of the product and found out that there is already a prohibition to not to use the digital printed. So we have come up with this design. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Akad, and your co-researchers. I am contemplating, we have experiencing on the mandatory mandatory Monday, Filipiniana and Barong. Anyway, now I have two questions, but in the interest of time, you may give priority to number one, but if you can find ways and means to answer both. Because I like talking to you about Filipiniana. Okay. Based on your findings, what specific policy adjustments are needed to ensure the local fiber industry can sustainably meet the increased demand without supply chain bottlenecks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, another question.
Yes, sir.
How can other educational institutions adopt similar cultural economic policies to support indigenous weaving communities without imposing excessive financial burdens on their employees?
Thank you, sir. That's
Okay.
a great questions. Number one question is the policy. I think we have already the DOST-assisted plant fiber production in Sultan Kudarat, wherein our first move is to extract fibers from abaca and bamboo, and the South Cotabato is focused on the bamboo, while USM in North Cotabato focus on the fibers into cloth. So these three groups are already in hand to produce some stripes only. We cannot produce really the whole cloth out of those initiative from DOST, considering the plants availability like abaca, the pineapple in South Cotabato, and the in Bukidnon. So the first policy is to observe just for the stripes of the uniform, not just the whole uniform in pineapple cloth, because scarcity is really evident in the Philippines. Another is because of the prohibition of DepEd to use the digital prints, our sisters and brothers in the company of the printing is already observing such prohibition. So the policy is to really impose those only stripes for now because of the scarcity. In other universities, they can also use those policies, but for now, the objective is to have the stripes only of some of the uniforms. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Dr. Akad.
For our next presenter, student category, Al Farouk I. Ibrahim, with paper title, Evaluating the Potential of Caulerpa lentilifera as a Biofertilizer, Impacts on Growth and Yield of Radish, Raphanus sativus.
Hello. Hi everyone, I'm Al Farouk Ibrahim, a third-year student in Bachelor of Science in Agriculture in Sulu State University. So I'll be presenting our study on the effects of sea grapes fertilizer on growth of radish. So overview of radish. Radish or Raphanus sativus, is an annual and biennial cool season crop of ancient origin believed to have originated in the Mediterranean and South Asian regions and grown in Southeast Asian countries. The radish is a root crop particularly grown for its top root, which varies in color from pink, white, red, purple, and black, and has an appetizing flavor. For the research gap, there are still limited studies on the use of sea grape or Caulerpa lentilifera as a fertilizer for radish, so further research is needed to determine its effects on radish growth. And based on this gap, our study aims to answer the question on what are the effects of varying levels of sea grape fertilizer and the growth of radish. This study utilized an experimental research designed to determine the effects of organic fertilizer on the growth and yield of radish. This design was selected to systematically control and manipulate the independent variable and observe its effects on the dependent variables, growth parameters, and radish yield. The experimental setup enabled comparison among treatments and yield quantifiable results. This study was conducted at Sulu State University School of Agriculture located at Barangay Lahing-Lahing, Omar Sulu. So, the experiment followed a randomized complete block design with 3 replications to maximize the effects of variability within the field, where there were 3 treatment levels of organic fertilizer. Treatment 1 is controlled or which did not receive any fertilizer. Treatment 2 has 2 teaspoons spray of sea grape natural fertilizer. Treatment 3 has 3 teaspoons spray of sea grapes of natural fertilizer. So as you can see, the treatment 3 has the highest the results suggest that the use of Caulerpa lentilifera as a foliar spray significantly improved the growth of Raphanus sativus under the conditions of the study, as well as the leaf growth and size. Treatment 3 showing the most effective result in increasing leaf size. The trend suggests that as the treatment level increases, leaf size also increases. The results suggest that the use of Caulerpa lentilifera as foliar spray significantly improved the growth of Raphanus sativus under the condition of the study. That would be all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, and your co-researchers. You have your advisor also here?
Wala po, sir.
Good. Good for being obedient student. They traveled alone without their advisor. Okay. Now, how is it? What was the title? Evaluating a marine-derived biofertilizer. I find this significant because our soil now are degrading. My question, Mr. Ibrahim, what are the long-term impacts of using marine-based biofertilizers on soil health and salinity compared to traditional synthetic fertilizers? Will there be a long-term impact of using your fertilizer developed to the traditional compared on soil health and salinity compared to traditional synthetic fertilizers? Is this developed fertilizer significant?
Yes.
So what will be its long-term impacts on our soil health and salinity compared to the traditional synthetic fertilizers?
Any further answer?
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, for answering yes. Actually, yes naman talaga, di ba? Sige. Anyway, that's a student fever.
For our next presenter, we have Franz Furby C. Ramos with his paper entitled Utilization of Aerial Terrain Mapping Using Unmanned Aerial Vehicle for Watershed and Forest Rehabilitation Planning.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Who will be
Before I
presenting online. Kindly make sure to prepare your slides.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I would like to ask if you could now see the shared presentation. Um, can you now see the shared presentation?
Once again, Franz Furby C. Ramos.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me? Can you see? Hello, can you hear me? Yes, good morning. Can you hear me now? Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes. Good morning once again. I'm Franz Fabricio Ramos. I'll be presenting to you the utilization of aerial mapping using unmanned aerial vehicle for watershed and forest rehabilitation planning. This one is a study that we conducted with under Miriam College. All of our members are taking PhD or environmental management and studies with our advisor, Dr. Louis Parungao. This study was a partnership of Miriam as one of the members for a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources in hope of creating an agreement in protecting one of the identified areas for forest rehabilitation in one of the protected watershed areas adjacent to Metro Manila, which is in Rizal. So the whole study, we use the unmanned aerial vehicles or what we are commonly known as drones. But technically, the equipment that we've used is a high resolution photometry together with a series of images that would capture the whole area together with the geospatial surveying that would measure the terrain, including assess the whole area in terms of identifying the percentage forested area and areas with no vegetation. So with the study, we demonstrated the use of this vehicle and photogrammetry to produce baseline watershed imagery in support for the planned forest rehabilitation in Kaliwa watershed area. This is a portion of the whole watershed area in Kaliwa, which is in Barangay Mamuyao, Tanay Rizal. This is very adjacent to Metro Manila. As we all know, and I would like also to apologize, I wasn't able to attend physically because in the past weeks, Metro Manila is experiencing severe monsoon rains and series of tropical depressions and typhoon. And I think this is very timely for the reason that our study focused on assessing the existing watersheds and how are we going to improve the areas through analyzing existing watershed and how are we going to plan for reforestation. So the study area covers the Barangay Mamuyao in Tanay Rizal, which is approximately 14.68 degrees north and 121.38 degrees east, which is in the main part of the Luzon, one of the major islands in the Philippines. The area is 655.9 meters above sea level. So as you can see in the figure, there are 4 parcels that we have identified, but we focus on parcel 3 as one of the segments of the said watershed. So what we did is we studied first Barangay Mamuyao. It's within the Kaliwa watershed, and by the topography based on our unmanned aerial vehicle maneuvering and surveying, we found out that the area is very steep and it has patches of land area, and as well as the whole watershed drains towards the Lanatin River, which drains to the Pacific Ocean in the east. So the steep slope has a general condition which means that the area is highly susceptible to rain-induced landslide and flooding. So the need for a scientific-based planning and rehabilitation is very evident and would require a proactive approach in restoring the ecological function of the whole watershed. Even though we only get a portion of 180 hectares, it is very significant because the forest reserve and the watershed would require series of monitoring and rehabilitation for reforestation. So one key important tool before the whole planning of reforestation is to provide an accurate geographical information system and ways of planning through the use of drones to determine the elevations and to assess the area. Now, the study aimed to utilize the unmanned aerial vehicles combined with the ICSIFT software application for watershed imagery to provide a baseline assessment and planning for the forest rehabilitation of the said 180. Can you hear me
Sir
now?
Franz
Again, I'm
Verbies.
sorry. Am I audible now? Can you hear me again? I'm sorry.
Once again, Sir Ramos, we are not hearing anything from your end.
Um, I think I'm.
He's mute, man.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Running time 4 minutes
Can
and
you hear?
29.
Can you hear
Since we
me?
are not hearing anything from Sir Franz Ramos, and we will call the next presenter. May we call in Joanne R. Agustin with paper title Occupational Health Problems, Health Safety Practices, and Management among Piña Fiber Handloom Weavers in the province of Aklan.
Good morning, everyone, to our distinguished guests, my fellow researchers, and fellow participants. Good morning. A good day to all. I'm Joanne Agustin from the Aklan State University College of Nursing, and I'm here to present our study entitled Occupational Health Problems, Health Safety Practices, and Management among Piña Handloom Weavers in the province of Aklan. Okay, so I'm here to present the study of my co-clinical instructor from the College of Nursing. Okay, piña weaving is an important source of livelihood and a valued products, and a valued part of Aklan's cultural heritage. The craft has gained international recognition, including recognition by UNESCO in 2023. However, weaving requires repetitive hand movements, prolonged sitting, and close visual work. This reveals a critical gap. While the product receives recognition, and occupational health and safety of the artisans requires equal attention, and this is where our study begins. Okay, so for the significance of our study, this study provides information that may be useful to the weavers, the local governments, health and labor agencies, and other stakeholders. The purpose is to identify occupational concerns and provide practical recommendations, and ultimately we want to support both workers' health and sustainability of the weaving industry. For the objectives, this study aimed to describe This study aims to describe the weaver's identity, identify workplace risk, determine common health problems, and examine their safety practices. It is also aimed to develop recommendations for improving their health and working conditions. So in simple terms, we wanted to understand their situation and identify possible ways to help them. For the methodology, we used a mixed method approach involving 48 pinya handloom weavers from Banga, Balete, and Kalibo, Aklan. We collected information through surveys and interviews, and the data was analyzed or were analyzed using quantitative and qualitative methods to provide a clear picture of their occupational health situation. So let us now look at the results. Most of the respondents were women, with approximately 40 women and 5 men, and many were between 40 and 49 years old. Some have been weaving for more than 25 years, showing the value of their experience and skills. However, many reported monthly incomes of less than 3,975 pesos, indicating limited economic resources. So this is important because income is directly connected to a person's ability to invest in healthcare, ergonomic improvements, and safer working conditions. In other words, health protection cannot be separated from economic security. For the working environment, the main workplace concerns was temperature, followed by ventilation and seating or cushioning. Other concerns includes air quality, lighting, and posture. These conditions can contribute to discomfort and physical strain during prolonged weaving. So these are the health problems that, or health concerns that was present. The respondents experiences back and hand musculoskeletal problems. This was followed by visual problems and head or neurological concern. So these findings are consistent with the repetitive movement, prolonged sitting, and close visual work involving the weaving. So for the weaver's experience, during the interview, it is supported, they supported the survey findings. So the weavers reported concerns such as back and shoulder pain, cuts, vision problems, muscle spasm, and fatigue. They also expressed the need for safety training, health checkups, emergency supplies, and improved working conditions. So in conclusion, the overall occupational health concerns of pinya weavers are influenced by their working environment, type of work, and economic situation. So these concerns therefore require more than individual precautions. There is a need for appropriate support from institutions and stakeholders. So these are the occupational health risks. So the findings suggest a simple cycle. Limited resources, challenging working conditions, and repetitive work can contribute to health problems. Sorry for the slides. Okay, so we propose 4 practical areas of intervention. So first is better ergonomics, regular health checks, emergency preparedness, and safety training. These may include improved seating, ventilation, health screening, first aid supplies, proper posture, and appropriate work rest periods. So protecting the weavers also means considering their income and social protection. Health and safety improvement may be difficult to maintain when workers have limited financial resources. So therefore, sustainability should consider both the livelihood of the weavers and also their health. So pinya weaving is an important part of a clan's culture and livelihood. The true measure of thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'm now ready for your question and insights.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Agustin.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
The researcher and your co-researchers, your advisor also is here.
I am one of the authors, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I was reading your abstract while you are presenting,
Yes,
but my ears are with you naman. I will be asking on which occupational health problems proved to be the most prevalent among the weavers? And what immediate, low-cost, ergonomic interventions can be introduced to mitigate it?
Okay, sir. Actually, the most usually the problem of the weavers is the repetitive movement. So they complained about the repetitive movement. So they complained about the back pain and then the lower back pain. So that's why we now formulated another study which we submitted during our in-house review, which is hopefully we'll be able to create a byproduct out of this study, which is the Ergo Hobby. So we're planning to create a caution that we will present it to our weavers if they are comfortable with the product that we will create for them. So we are still on the process of creating a product for our weavers, ergonomic product for our weavers.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Researcher.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For our next presenter, Maria Joy Jocosol, Predictors of Performance in the Licensure Examination for Agriculturists in Eastern Samar State University, Canavid Campus.
Have you ever wondered why two students with similar academic backgrounds can have vastly different outcomes in board examinations? Is it how they study, their financial situations, or perhaps specific grades they achieved years prior? So, good morning, researchers and innovators. I'm Maria Joy Jocosol, and I'm a faculty from the College of Agriculture, Eastern Samar State University, Canavid Campus. And today I'll be presenting our study titled Predictors of Performance in the Licensure Examination for Agriculturists in Eastern Samar State University, Canavid Campus. And I co-authored this study with my esteemed colleagues, Mr. Byron I. Consultado and Mr. Dora Pumasin. And I'd like to also announce that this paper was actually accepted for publication in the Scopus Index just last month. Yeah, so indeed, there is a critical gap in understanding exactly which academic and socioeconomic factors tip the scale toward passing the board examinations. Our study aims to bridge the gap on identifying what truly predicts success for our agriculture graduates. And then the primary objective of our research was to investigate the key predictors influencing performance in the licensure examinations for agriculturists among our SC graduates. And to achieve this, we utilize a quantitative descriptive correlational research design, and our study involved 71 BSA graduates, which took the licensure examination for the past 5 years. And we wanted to look beyond just the final exam scores in the board exam and analyze their demographic, their preparation strategies, the obstacle they faced, and their academic history from high school to college. So basically, who is the Leia taker from our campus? Our data from 2021 to 2025 shows that the typical taker was young and single. The majority, 66%, who took the exam are between the ages of 21 to 25, shortly after graduating. And that demographically, 56% of the takers were male, and that 49% of our respondents passed the exam or their first attempt. When we looked at the trends over a 5-year period, we saw a steady rise in the LEA passing rate from 2021 to 2025. However, critically, our reality remains failure rates are still higher than the passing rates each year. And that this indicates that while we are still improving, a sustained institutional effort is still very much needed. So we also evaluated where our students excelled and where they struggled. And graduates showed strong performance in agricultural extension and crop-related subjects, such as crop science and crop protection. And then conversely, they were weaker in soil science, animal science, and agricultural economics. This clearly signals the need for a targeted curriculum review. And then in terms of preparation for our graduates for the board exam, our graduates relied heavily on active, self-regulated, and collaborative learning. Their top preparation and strategies included, number one, taking lecture notes and reviewing lecture materials, maintaining strict study schedule and managing study time. Third is attending review centers and participatory in review sessions. Fourth is practicing active listening. So overall, they generally utilize a combined approach, self-review and review centers. However, their journey was not without moderate challenges. So the major obstacles they faced included balancing work responsibilities during the review period, insufficient study and the lack of sleep, financial constraints, and psychological readiness, and overall exam difficulty. So this brings us to the core of our findings. What actually predicts LEA performance? So while our respondents maintained a good to very good academic performance across high school, general education, core, and major subjects, not all grades are equal predictors of board success. We found that college academic performance significantly predicts LEA performance, high school performance does not. And that the major subjects, the general weighted average for the major subjects was the strongest prediction of passing the board exam. And this was followed by the core subjects, GWA and GNA. And then the college admission, the test showed only a weak but still a significant link to LEA performance. And these academic indicators showed significant positive correlation with LEA performance, and that previously that the master of major college subjects were the ultimate foundation of board performance. So based on these findings, we strongly recommend that institutions should provide structured institutional review programs, flexible support systems for working graduates, and targeted academic interventions, particularly in soil science, animal science, and agricultural economics. And to conclude, I would like to leave you with a quote from our presentation. Just like our agriculture graduates, may we always strive for excellence and bring out the best in ourselves. Thank you so much for your time, and I am now ready to answer questions. So there are also the slides of the data in our slide, the appendix. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hokosol. Considering that the administration have a lot of issues to attend to, and based on the specific predictors you identified, which academic interventions or student retention policies should the campus administration prioritize immediately as the need of prioritization is concerned?
Actually, sir, our paper was submitted for utilization in our campus, and then we actually forged a MOA with the UPLB, where we forged a partnership to have a program which actually relies on the competences in the LEA, specifically on the weaker na mga subject like agricultural economics, soil science, and animal science. And the review program, which is named as UPLB SO Accelerate, is now ongoing for our graduates who are going to take the LEA exam this December. And for the instructional, ano to, sir? for the instructional
Red.
interventions.
Yes.
Are you asking for? For the instructional interventions, we, the faculty, are actually we are revising our modules, and it should be aligned with the competencies in the LEA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hokusol.
So that concludes our first technical session. May we call all the presenters to have a photo opportunity with our session chair and also evaluator, Dr. Geronimo Liado of Eastern Summer State University, Can Avid Campus. And also we would like to remind everyone for our lunch. The lunch is served at Parasol Restaurant. It's actually located here by the beachfront. So for the meantime, let's have some photo opportunity with all the presenters, including our session chair, Dr. Eliado.
We would like to invite all the participants to the stage to do a photo session. So please come everyone, join with the photo session. Including all the speakers, every key people over here. Please come.
And also the organizing committee to please proceed in front for the photo opportunity. May we call in Dr. Rania Abdurraoub and also Dr. Frisida E. Daoud. Maybe we also invite all the participants to have some photo opportunity before we take our lunch. Some of our delegates will be actually leaving by today. So let's take this opportunity po to have our photo ops. Everyone po. Maybe we can stay, just compress here. May we request everyone to kindly stand up and sitting na lang? Okay. Sige. And the photographer will be here in front.
Maganda kasi para lahat na pag dito kasi di ka siya. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, 5. Another way.
We will be back and proceed with the presentation at 1:30, and we'll start with technical session 2.
I will be asking another copy. For the transfer my final writing. Okay. I will be asking another blank.
Requested po, after lunch, we'll also have another photo opportunity by the beachfront po. Yes, after lunch po. So, requesting everyone to please stay at the venue for another photo op. After lunch, we'll take a photo by group by the beach.